Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an early look at Distance. This is a game that's currently in development by Refract and is available on Steam Early Access for about 20 bucks. This is a survival racing game that clearly takes some visual cues from the likes of Tron. It is very light-centric. Yeah, light-centric. Interesting little game. Definitely an interesting little game. It's Rage Simulator 2015. The levels at some points, like the later levels in the adventure mode, oh my god, they kick my butt so hard. So first up, let's go into the options menu because I want to talk about a little bit of a caveat. If you are thinking of picking up this game or already have this game and are having trouble with a third-party controller, there is a minor issue with it right now as of this build. I'm not sure if they're planning on fixing it or if they're just going to leave that to the people, because it's only a select few controllers, namely Logitech controllers, as far as I've seen. I don't know of any other controllers that do this. If we go into controls here, you'll notice that my device is 360 Gamepad 0, which is ultimately what I want. But this isn't selecting the device you're using. This is where you can configure all the devices on your system. And you can see that the controller Gamepad F310 is also here. I can, on the fly, switch between any controllers that are connected to the system. So right now, it's detecting that I have 3 controllers, despite the fact that I only have the 2. I have the keyboard and my Logitech F310. The Logitech controllers, I'm not sure if it's all of them or just a few of them, have the ability to switch between direct input and X input. If you're not familiar with what those are, X input is the standard control for the Xbox 360 controllers. Direct input is its predecessor. It's the older version that a lot of older games will use. The controller that I have, the F310, can switch between the two, and therefore it registers as 2 separate controllers, which causes a problem because they're not the same key bindings. So, for example, A here is boost, but default on this controller it was jump. So every time I'd press A, I would jump and boost. And that's not ideal. It was just throwing things off and causing no end of trouble. There's a couple different fixes for it. The only one that I consider viable is to go into the device options and unset all the controls for the controller you don't want. So in this case, I'm going to use the 360 controller because this cues the 360 prompts and all that fun stuff. Like, as you can see, the back button in the lower right corner is a red B. So why have a 360 compatible controller if you're not going to have the 360 compatible prompts? It just makes sense. So I've unset the direct input one. That has effectively allowed me to actually use or play the game with my controller. There's different device schemes, so if you come down here, you can see that I have my advanced PS4 scheme, which doesn't really matter. That's just the default name that it gave it, because it defaulted to advanced PS4 controller. You've also got a racing wheel setup already in here, which is quite nice. I have not tried my racing wheel with it. I believe I actually have the G27. I'm not entirely sure. It's in a closet and is probably caked in dust by now because I haven't used it in almost a year. Either way, oh, no. Want that. Do not want to, screw this up. Or else playing the game is almost impossible. So here we are. That's the caveat. There's a lot of different options, a lot of graphics options in here right now. You can have different profiles. You've got your different audio sliders, which is quite nice. Although, as I've said before, Master should be at the top. Master should always be at the top at all times. There's no point in having it at the bottom. Go through and adjust all the other ones and realize you can adjust one. Anyway, So I have completed the adventure mode. The adventure mode right now is still in progress and is very, very short. And later levels kick my ass. So we're going to restart the adventure mode because I think the arcade mode was the one I first went into. And it's just a big sphere that doesn't really show anything. So yeah, we're going to restart our progress. And take a look at what this game has. So this is effectively the story mode. And this will give you a good idea of what we're dealing with here. Time since last boot, 9999. Error. Yeah, there was problems. So, I'm not sure if you're a driver in a car or if you're actually the car. I also like that they're using GCC. I don't know what that has to do with the boot version. It's clearly recompiling itself. But yeah, here's your car. This thing looks amazing. I love what they've done. It is just awesome. I want a car like this in real life. The fun thing is we could actually make something like this. Because all it is just LEDs. Engaging warp to initial sector. Distance. Cool little startup. Alright, so here we are. Broken symmetry. So here, it's gonna tell us how to drive. So one thing that you should probably do with this game is use the shoulder buttons as much as possible. So A is boost, but so is your right trigger. And yes, you will overheat, but these green things, they heal you. This tutorial isn't very good, honestly. It's not the worst I've seen, but it tells you things kind of after the fact, or when you need to pay attention. Oh, I missed that jump. That's poop. Either way, for the most part, I've never had an issue with constantly boosting. There's really no issue because these things are always spread out. Now, this is, of course, on the official levels, not the workshop levels. This game does have workshop support. Oh, shit. I was not expecting to get launched off there, but sure. And yes, you can wall ride. You just gotta be very careful. Some places I found that the physics is a little bit much. The physics need to be kind of tweaked a little bit. There's certain points, like there's big blades that you run into and are supposed to cut you up. I've run into them a few times and just bounced off, or just all of a sudden found myself on the other side of the map, just flying away into nothingness and then explode. That's not a big deal because either way you explode and die. And that's the end of this level. That was training level 1. So you might be wondering where the whole rage part of this comes in. That's much later levels. We will not be seeing that today because those are a pain in the friggin' ass. There is a... Can I... No, I can't do that yet because it hasn't told me. So, as you can see, it likes to pop things up in front of you. The view can be severely restricted at times. The turns... Now, this could be just me and how I perceive things. Whoa. Okay, there's a new one. Never exploded halfway through my return. I don't think I was overheating. There we go. So you've got your jump, and I'm not using X or anything. I'm using the shoulder button. Which is why it's kind of switching to square, because I still haven't actually... those are still bound to my other one, but they're bound properly, so it's not really a big deal. Anyway, it's quite cool. It looks really good. These things popping up in front of you, they get old real fast, especially on later levels when there's lots of them popping up. And then I did that. Don't jump off the track. You can easily jump off the track. So be careful. Maybe avoid these things. Unless you have to. For the most part, the levels are designed fairly well. But I found, I think it was the second to last level. There was a part right at the end. Oh shit. Jumped just a little bit too late. And again. There was a part near the end of it where you were going through portal after portal after portal, and they required... There's a jump maneuver that we should be getting into in the next one. This jump maneuver requires you to use your side thrusters here to rotate. I needed to boost there. There's a lot of the whole learning thing. So like, I was looking up and almost missed that. That track above, theoretically, it was a little far away, but I could have jumped and rotated onto it. But I didn't. Oh, damn it. And you can hit the back button to reset your position. But yeah, this thing, there was a constant... Yeah, these are the blades. These are the blades I was saying that you can hit and you just kind of bounce off. I don't know why, because I was like boosting full speed and I just bounced off the blade. But there is... Let's see... No, I missed it. So there is that whole damage thing. You can see... Let's see if I can rotate. There you go. Yeah, you saw it for a brief second. Where, depending on where you hit, you actually take damage there. It'll cut off the top of your car. If you manage to make it, even just rolling through inertia to one of these green circles when that happens, I've had half of my car cut off. Run through the green circle, and it regenerates your car, which is nice. That itself has saved my bacon several times. Come on, let's go. Oh, I think I actually took off a little bit at the front. No. Come on. I want to get to the point where you have to rotate. Ooh. Almost went off. Woo! Stop boosting. I need to learn when to stop boosting. There we go. So this one clearly was not the one that had me go and do the rotate thing. Maybe this one. Either way, I really want to show that one. Because it is a vile mechanic. just absolutely horrendous. Oop. These portals are interesting. Yeah, I don't feel like this one's going to do it either. It's similar to the wall jump. Oh, and here is the flight mode. So you can fly, but it uses your boost, like your boost cooldown. So going through these rings, to my knowledge, these rings don't repair you, they just cool you down. And then you land. Oop, oop. Avoid all the things. Let's get some boost going here. So all in all, it's a nice game. It's got a few little quirks to it, but it is still in early access, so a lot of things can be corrected. Oop. Whoops. I am doing wonderful on the flying thing. I do find the flying aspect of it to be quite enjoyable. I think that's done fairly well. Okay, don't fiddle with the rotation when you're, you know, going through things. Whoop. Okay, good. Boop, boop. And down. Woo! Gotta be very, very careful and very diligent about things. Like big pillars. Trying to figure out which way is up is always fun. This is actually very reminiscent of the final level. This, I do think that this mechanic is one of the better mechanics in the game. The whole flight thing. It's really not going to do the rotation thing, is it? Well, you may have to just take my word for it. I can't even jump here. There's also times, like right now, I can fly, but there are times when it will actually disable the flight. Basically, it does it as like a virus or corruption. And through we go. So right now, this is all still tutorial stuff. It's still just getting you into the mechanics of it. And yeah, now I think is where we get into the point where it will disable the flight. Yeah. So now you get little glitch parts. This is all, I believe, part of the story behind all this, which is kind of cool. But I don't think we're gonna run into that last mechanic. Essentially what it is you will be either, there'll be a wall to the left or right of you. This guy gonna suck me in? Yeah. There'll be a wall to the left or the right of you, and you have to jump onto it. So you jump and you rotate. And that can sometimes be difficult. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's one of those things that I want to show, but I don't really have any method of showing it. But I'm sure a lot of people probably think it's a great mechanic. I personally could do without it. And it might be because I find this rotation to be a little bit too sensitive. which again could very well be my problem, but I'd like to be able to turn down the sensitivity. And they do have 2 sensitivity sliders, but neither of them are for, or specifically for, the rotation thing. They seem to be both, like, one is for your car, the other one is for when you're flying. Which, I'm just gonna fly right into this thing, because I know that that's where I gotta go. I actually spun around that little thing a couple times, whoop, before I realized that you had to go up into that little orb. May seem a little weird, but it was not obvious to me. And we're gonna have flight. Whenever you see those not green circles, that means there's gonna be flight. I don't know if all the levels do that, but at least the official ones seem to. The ones that I've done, anyway. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything else that I can say about it. It's looking pretty good. It functions quite well. It has this knack for killing you. It's like Spelunky with cars. Yeah, that's how I'm going to describe it. Spelunky with cars. Because that makes sense to everyone, right? Fuck you all! No! Alright, anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch, or add me to your Google Plus circles. I also have a Patreon campaign going on. Feel free to support me on there if you so desire. And if you want to see more, click that subscribe button.